Today on There Is No Such Thing as Proximity to Whiteness.
Asian Americans did not overwhelmingly vote for Donald Trump, but you know who did? Korean Americans did. I have to assume that some Korean Americans in Georgia who voted for Trump might start to be waking up.
So TikTok is blowing up because of the Hyundai construction site in Georgia raided by ICE, where 450 people were detained, of which 300 of them were Korean nationals. I don't know if you have heard about this news because it is trending and a lot of Koreans on TikTok are reacting to this situation. But the thing is this. A white woman, did a video that she was the one that reported these people to ICE. I have put together a few videos. People are not surprised that this is coming from a white woman. Stay with me. I'm going to show you her video. Of course, she is doubling down. She turned her comment section off. Then she has done a lot of videos still coming for people. Stay with me. I'm going to show you the videos I have put together. And of course, I'm going to show you some random comments. I just thought to react to this because TikTok is blowing up and people are not happy with this situation. Let's check these videos out.
Today on There Is No Such Thing as Proximity to Whiteness, we have the largest immigration raid in all of U.S. history. And people who look like me often think, it's definitely about the Mexicans and Latinos. Well, guess what? They were Korean, so people who literally look like me. Today at the Hyundai LG plant, which produces batteries for electric vehicles, the largest raid in all of Homeland Security history went down, where they arrested 475 people, mostly of whom were of Korean descent. And the reason why I say that there's no such thing as proximity to whiteness is that a lot of people who look like me think that this whole immigration crackdown is about Latinos and brown people, forgetting that Asian people are people of color, as in we are not white. And South Korea just learned this the hard way, because just barely a few weeks ago, South Korea committed to spending billions of dollars investing into the US economy. Where literally just barely 2 weeks ago, they pledged an additional $150 billion into the US economy. And that's already after South Korea committed to investing $350 billion investment from South Korea to the United States for things like shipbuilding, semiconductors, batteries, and energy. Hyundai specifically stated that they were going to invest an additional $5 billion into that US investment. And just a quick reminder, Hyundai and Kia just merged. So we're talking about Hyundai, Kia's, and Genesis, which committed to expanding its automobile and parts production in the US, including building a new steel mill in Louisiana and a state-of-the-art robotics facility. And apparently, even after being a puppet state of the imperialistic United States for over 70 years now, South Korea hasn't learned a single thing, because they were like, we're gonna try to buy our way into America's good graces and lower tariffs by investing billions of dollars into their economy, even though, just a friendly reminder, proximity to whiteness is not a thing. Just like proximity to anything doesn't turn you into that thing. Like, I can stand next to a billionaire as long as I want. It's not gonna just magically make me a billionaire. And until we address that and stand together, our communities will continue to fall. Thank you and stay safe.
Here's how Korea is reacting to the ICE raids at the Hyundai battery plant in Georgia.
We need construction to cease immediately.
And this raid is the largest single-site operation that DHS has conducted in history. Of the over 450 people arrested right now, around 300 of them are Korean nationals. And this has come as quite a shock to South Korea right now, because Koreans are usually not the target of ICE raids. A Korean newspaper even had this cartoon right here where they are depicting Trump as a sort of a bully. It starts off by saying that the US was begging Korea for more investments, and now they're arresting hundreds of South Koreans on a business trip. Literally just last month, South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung met with President Trump, and they reaffirmed their alliance as well as business relationships. The US has been pressuring South Korea to invest billions of dollars into the American industry, and they were ramping up this pressure in the past few months. Korea recently agreed to a $350 billion investment into the American economy. And part of that investment was this Hyundai LG factory that was set to open next year. This facility was going to be Georgia's biggest industrial investment in the state's history, and it was supposed to help boost the state's economy. Officials are saying that a lot of these employees were actually South Korean nationals there on a temporary visa for a business trip who have been sent to help finish building electric car battery factories. First of all, South Korea's foreign ministry came out immediately to say that they are expressing concern and regret over Washington's decision to do this, and that this will send a chilling effect to the US in terms of business. I mean, President Trump has vowed to arrest the worst of the worst criminals with ICE raids, so I think Korea is shocked that this happened at one of their biggest factories in the US. I mean, the US is coming out and saying that they did this raid because they think the employees are there illegally or have overstayed their visas, and investigations are still currently ongoing. Now, LG is ordering all of its employees that are on business trips in the US to immediately return to Korea, and they're going to reconsider sending anyone else on business trips to the US right now.
Asian Americans did not overwhelmingly vote for Donald Trump, but you know who did? Korean Americans did, specifically in Georgia. And why does that matter? Because of what happened in Georgia the other day. Now, the last time I called out Korean Americans for their vote for Trump, I got called a lot of things on this app, in my comments and in my DMs from other Asians. So I will say this. Wasn't all Asians, wasn't even a majority of Asians, but it was 64% of Korean Americans in Georgia, and that is relevant to this conversation. Because those factory workers, those Korean nationals who are now having to deal with a legal nightmare, probably lost wages because you think Hyundai is paying for them while they're being detained. It was their cousins, their American cousins, who made all of this possible. I've said for a while that Korean Americans have attached themselves to whiteness. Korean Americans have attached themselves to this idea that they're better than other Asians and better than other people of color. Not all Koreans feel this way. I certainly did not grow up feeling this way. My family does not feel this way. Don't come at me. If this isn't you, congratulations, you're one of the good ones. But I'm telling you, 64% of Korean Americans in Georgia voted for Donald Trump. And I'm speaking to them specifically. They will never see you as American. The Red Hatters, they will never see you as an equal member of society. And that might actually be okay with some of you because you have placed them at a higher status than even yourself. And you put your cousins in trouble because of it. Now, the reason some Korean Americans gave for their vote for Trump was for the economy, immigration, and wokeness. And I have to assume that some Korean Americans in Georgia who voted for Trump might start to be waking up.
I really don't understand the ICE raid on the Hyundai power plant. It's so comically illogical that my first thought was somebody close to Trump from within his organization is trying to sabotage him by giving stupid instructions to ICE. Because one of the main reasons for tariffs is to encourage foreign companies to operate in US soil. And not for nothing, like that's a valid way to use tariffs. All my liberal friends became like the most obnoxious version of someone who's taken Econ 101, like, oh, tariffs get passed straight to the consumer. No, sometimes companies like Hyundai decide to build a factory in the USA to get around the tariffs. I'm not bringing that up to say like the tariffs were like a win. I don't know what the net effect of that was. But Hyundai building a plant in the USA to hire US workers to produce batteries for them to sell, that is literally the textbook scenario of success with a tariff. Literally exactly what you want. And then he raids it with ICE and gets rid of the people. The Koreans were there to set up the factory, which is harder than working at the factory, right? Is setting it up for the first time and then train US workers to do the job. I tend to give people credit. Like Trump winning the 2016 election, a lot of you are too young to remember this. Like in 2015, Fox News and the Republican Party did not like him. He had to beat the Republicans and then he had to beat Hillary Clinton to become president for the first time. So I've never thought that he was dumb. I don't think he's a mastermind. Like, oh, 4D chess. Like, you know, like I've seen those memes, like his supporters. Like, I don't think that. But he's not dumb. But now I'm thinking that he might actually be. And everything else was like a crazy, happy, lucky accident. Like, that's very hard to believe. I think he was smart and now his mind is starting to go. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Like, what did he think was going to happen? Like, right or wrong, I can't even understand what his thought process was.
A lot of people have been talking about this particular immigration raid, and they're talking about it from the lens of, oh, South Koreans are not usually the targets for immigration raid. There's also one specific creator right now that's getting a lot of hate because she specifically said Koreans are not the usual targets of immigration raids. A lot of people are coming for her for saying that, but she's literally not the only creator that I've seen speaking like that. And unfortunately, while all of these immigration raids have been happening, people have all kind of had the same version that this is just an issue that's impacting the Latino community. When the reality has always been, they're coming after everyone. This is not just a Latino issue. Immigration has never just been a Latino issue. Other than Latinos, the second group of people that is most targeted by ICE are Asians. So it's not shocking for anybody who's been paying attention to immigration and ICE to see that they went after the Hyundai factory to go after Asian immigrants. They've been doing that the whole time. It's just that this time, the group of immigrants that they caught were not from one particular country that is Mexico or part of Latin America. And that's why this is getting so much attention. But I do want to give a shout out to the way that the South Korean government is handling this, because they're sending over a charter plane to grab their residents and get them back to their home country because they do not trust the way that ICE works. But use this as a reality check for everyone. ICE raids are not just a Latino issue. The three groups of people that are most targeted by ICE are Latino immigrants, Asian immigrants, and Black immigrants. This impacts everyone.
The ICE raid that just happened at the Hyundai EV plant in Georgia is going to and has ruined all future international business for the United States, has ruined international relations, and is going to tank America's economy and Georgia's economy even further. South Korea has been one of America's strongest allies for a very long time. They've had a very strong relationship for a very long time, and South Korea has invested a lot of money, millions, billions of dollars. Now the South Korean government does not feel safe with their Korean nationals, and they do not trust the American government or American law enforcement to not infringe the rights upon their own citizens. They feel backstabbed, and that is deeply concerning and very alarming with the future relations of South Korea and the United States moving forward after what just happened, after what just took place in Georgia. Not to mention, Hyundai and LG have invested millions, billions of dollars into this. And now South Korean businesses like Hyundai, Kia, LG, Samsung are going to question whether or not it is worth the time, the money, and the investment moving forward. And they will most likely pull out of America. Georgia has the third highest population of Koreans living in the United States outside of California and New York. Most of the Koreans that live in Georgia live in the Atlanta area, and they live in the Savannah area where the Hyundai plant is located. Hyundai will most likely pull out, and if they do, Georgia's economy will tank as well as America's economy, which right now, the economy is not looking that great for both America and Georgia. If Hyundai pulls out, if these Korean companies pull out of Georgia, Georgia's economy will fall because they rely on these Korean companies. And they have made a lot of money, and it has created job opportunities in the state of Georgia. The fact that the South Korean government has deployed diplomats from Washington, D.C., the Atlanta consulate, and they're flying their own from Korea to help facilitate and intervene the over 300 Korean nationals who are currently being detained is not a good thing. After the meeting that just took place on August 25th between Trump and the new president of South Korea, who was just elected into office on June 3rd. This does not look good. On top of that, the New York Times article that just came out about how Trump deployed Navy SEAL 6 to North Korea to plant a listening device. The operation failed, and the Navy SEAL 6 killed North Korean civilians. So right now, the relationships between South Korea, actually Korea in general, both Koreas, does not look good for America at all. And it's very troubling and very concerning. A lot of Korean people are talking about this, and it's very interesting to see how this has really turned around, and how a lot of Korean people are just now unfortunately seeing that this was never about rounding up illegals. Like, we were gonna be next. We were gonna always be next. After Hispanic and Latinos, they were always gonna come after us. It was always gonna be us. But to see the real life turnaround is just really interesting to see. And as a Korean person, I love telling my own people I told you so.
A Hyundai plant in Savannah, Georgia was just raided by ICE that detained about 500 people, and over 300 of them were Korean nationals. Like, this is major. Like, I talked about the Jakarta method a couple days ago. The US did the same thing in Korea, in Jeju, where there was a socialist movement in Korea, and the US did not like that. So the US killed hundreds of thousands of Koreans and made South Korea a major US military stronghold in the East. So a couple months ago, when China, Japan, and Korea had a little meeting, and we were all just like, that is wild, given the history. Like, the Korean government, like, they are not going to be happy about this. And this is just like another pebble in the pail toward perhaps Korea pushing against US military occupation. Because it's interesting, like, growing up Korean in America, like, we're fed this lie about the US in Korea, how like the US like liberated us. But when you actually look at the history, baby, it's like so far from the truth. I don't know. Also, I miss 101, wearing my 101 t-shirt today. This was never about immigrating here legally, because all these Korean nationals were here legally, working, building infrastructure for the US on American soil. And if they can be detained, if you're Korean living in the United States right now and you don't think that this has anything to do with you, or you're not bothered by this, baby, you better gird your loins.
Did you know you can pay $5 billion just to get humiliated? That's exactly what happened to the Hyundai and LG battery factory in Georgia. By the way, it's not Hyundai, it's Hyundai. Over 500 people were taken, and more than 300 people were Korean national. When the president of South Korea met Trump last month, I couldn't even finish the video.
저의 관여로 남북 관계가 잘 개선되기 쉽지 않은 상태인데, 실제로 이 문제를 풀 수 있는 유일한 인물이 트럼프 대통령이십니다.
It was so cringe, the way he was kissing and the translator fighting for his life.
So resolving this issue through my engagement is not an easy thing. And the only person that can make progress on this issue is you, Mr. President.
Apparently, they discussed South Korea's future investment in the US, including energy, mineral, infrastructure. But just in 11 days, South Korea media is saying 뒤통수 맞았다, meaning they got stabbed in the back. US media claims that a lot of them overstayed their visa. But the investigation isn't over, so we'll find out more. Korean netizens are furious. Koreans are all about pride. Having our own people being mass detained, that's not gonna sit well with them for the next maybe 10 years. Some are saying shut down the factory, pull out the investment, bring our people back home immediately. And others are saying they believe Korea is being disrespected because we're a smaller country. And some think US is pushing out Korean workers because they want to replace that with US workers, even though the innovation is from Korea. And surprisingly, a lot of them are saying that Trump is trying to punish Korea for attending this Chinese military parade, marking the 80th anniversary ending World War II. And apparently it was anti-US event. Anyway, this is far from over. It'll be interesting to see if this will change the relationship between South Korea and the US. We'll find out.
So ICE raided a Hyundai plant in Georgia on Thursday, September 4th, and detained nearly 500 people. And out of those 500, a vast majority of them were South Korean nationals. As a first-generation Korean American myself, I completely understand that our survival in the Western culture assimilation is to keep our head down, go with the flow, not make any noise. And this is where that model minority myth comes from. But I really hate that it takes a big event like this in order for people to form some empathy and to realize that standing up against ICE is not just standing up for one demographic, but it's standing up for everyone. It's super frustrating to see a bunch of Asian American creators only start to talk about it now because they see that it's affecting their community, while they've been completely silent in the past when all of these other raids have been happening. I just want to remind you guys that the model minority is a myth, and it's meant to pit us against one another. another. If there is even one group oppressed, then we are all oppressed. It's also important to acknowledge the power that the South Korean government holds within the world and how much of a privilege this is. There are so many people who come to the US fleeing their home country and seeking refuge. The South Korean government is currently holding press conferences advocating for the rights of the people who were taken up in this raid so that they're not unfairly infringed upon, which is such a privilege. I hope this was a wake-up call for a lot of Asian Americans out there. Your proximity to whiteness will not save you because you will always be seen as other.
I took some screenshots of comments randomly so you guys can see what other people said. Now, beside me are some of these comments. You can please pause to read, but I'm gonna read out some for you. Because I do not want this video to be too long, I saw a lot of videos from, some Koreans, showing concern about what happened to their people, and they are not happy that this is happening or this happened to their people. Now, in the comment section, some people were telling them, oh, y'all voted for this. Because some of them obviously voted for President Donald Trump, and people are telling them in the comment section that they are getting what they voted for. Some Koreans are saying that this is a breaking news in their country, and they are mad. They are mad at President Donald Trump. They are mad at ICE for doing this to their people. Now, beside me again are the screenshots of comments I grabbed. I just thought to react to this because it is trending and I want to know what you all think in the comment section. Again, I told you that a white woman did a video that she was the one that reported these people to ICE. Now, it's gonna be in my next video because people are coming for her massively. Like, she had to turn her comment section off. Now, people were asking, how could you? Why would you do such a thing to them? So this comment right here says, this is not going to sit well here in Korea. The next comment says, Korea is pissed about this. It's all over the news in Korea as well, and they are planning on closing their plants. The next comment says, Korea needs to cancel the investment. There's so many pro-Trump in Korea too. Now, another thing that a lot of people are saying is that people are saying that they were arrested because they are illegal. While some people in the comments are saying that all of them, they are not illegal immigrants. They've got papers. They do not know why they were arrested. Anyways, you guys, I thought to react to this and of course for you all to see and hear from Koreans what they are saying, their reactions to this situation. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. Remember, I'm gonna make a part 2 to show you the white woman who reported them to ICE. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and of course, come back for another video. I'm gonna see y'all in my next one. Y'all have a lovely day. Bye.